What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? You guys ready for some more World of Warcraft on this day? Are you ready? I hope so.
Rebeccaloran is now live, streaming World of Warcraft, Nightslayer, World of Warcraft Classic TBC Prep.
Yeah, hi, I'm your host, rebeccaloran. Hi, how you doing? Yeah, we're gonna be playing some more Warrior, just slowly, working our way towards 60. We're about like a little bit over halfway from 55 to 56, so just slowly, clearing out my quest log, getting the green quests, just like quickly kind of finishing up to Norris. We're
Hey.
probably, hey, what's up, Toxicity? Hey, how you doing? It's been quite a bit, huh? Yeah, we're probably going to be clearing Tanaris out. I think we're almost done with Tanaris. And then we're probably going to start Silithus, I think. Oh, no, maybe we should do, finish out Felwood and then move on to Winter Spring. And I think Winter Spring should be good. There's a lot of skinning there. There's a big quest hub there, and that should get us prepared for Silithus. And then we could probably, well, see, the reason I want to do Silithus is because there is a quest there that unlocks the Chrono Boon. And we're about the level that we could do that. But I kind of want to hit 56 first before we go there. It feels like a level 56 place rather than a level 55. I don't know. Felwood, well, finishing out Tanaris, which is like a, level like 48 place. Finishing out Tanaris, and then going over to Felwood, and then going over to Winter Spring should get us to 56. I'm pretty sure. A lot of grinding out mobs in those zones too while we're there. My hair is like a mess. I really hate this place. I really do. This morning I was trying to get my beans so I could soak them with some kelp, which helps get rid of the gas, by the way. Soak it with like an inch of kelp and then drain it and get rid of the kelp, obviously. And then you put it in the pressure cooker with like more kelp, with epazote, which is a Mexican herb, bay leaves, coriander or cumin, and then just like, I actually put in a little cinnamon, onions and garlic, and then also pumpkin seeds, fennel, and chia seeds and flaxseed, ground flaxseed. That all mixes up during the pressure cooking phase. Soaked beans take about 10 to 15 minutes in the pressure cooker. And after it's done, I put in some, in the simmer, and when it's simmering, I put in some kale and some dried nettle leaves. And some red wine vinegar. And it should turn out it turns out pretty good. I'm kind of, kind of at the end of the month. I don't have any more food stamps for the next of the month, so I gotta just use the beans. And oh yeah, I put buckwheat for complete protein instead of rice, with the beans. Beans, lots of beans, lots of beans, lots of beans. And so that's what I'm going to be making for dinner, that I'll, have some leftovers for the next, few days. Things about beans is like you got to soak them, which takes a little bit of pressure. A little bit of planning, and that's kind of frustrating, but it's worth it. At least soak them for like 8 hours. So I'm gonna make them tonight. Okay. How about we just like go without the hair tie today? I'm not. I usually don't like keep my hair like, you know, at like a bob. You know, it's not at a bob, but like, you know, just keep it kind of like, you know, keep it this way a little bit. You know, just for funsies. Yeah. Yeah, getting really into the heading towards level 60 grind is what we're doing. We're really locking in. We're really locking in, okay? Okay, I need to get some water. Yeah, so we need to start working our way towards Tanaris. Finish up Tanaris. Turn in some waste wanderer water or whatever. Let's just vendor all this shit. Okay, let's just toss it up on the auction house. Yeah, I probably got undercut. Yeah, may as well. It's like sometimes it's a little bit risky throwing things up on the auction house, but you know, with great risk comes great reward sometimes. I mean, of course, Mage Weave should sell. Like, come on. I think it just got undercut like crazy. So we just put it back up. Put up these patterns for people so they don't have to farm it. Okay. You know, it's like just vendor this shit. Yeah, we gotta turn in our quests. Like this is taking up inventory space. It's really annoying. I'm just carrying, you know, obviously the Alterac stuff, you know, but just carrying quest turn-ins. Stupid. Taking up valuable inventory space. We gotta clear those quests out, okay?
See you later.
Alright, yeah, we gotta save up gold for that fast mount. For sure. It's like 600 gold, right? We're 12 gold in. I'm also... We need to calm down a little bit on the alts. I'm kind of done now, gearing up my alts. So now we can get into pure savings mode. You know, sometimes like people like always want to stockpile gold. People always want to stockpile. They want to see a big number. But it's just like in StarCraft or Warcraft, I guess, because it's World of Warcraft. You gotta keep spending your resources. Otherwise, if you just keep saving up resources, you're gonna get cleared out by your enemy.
Be careful.
Like, you need to actually spend on upgrades, you need to spend on, you know, like in RTS, for example, it's a little bit more extreme. But like in the same sense, if you really like think about it, if you're spending gold, you're upgrading your character, which means you can make more gold in the long term. Because you're going to kill monsters faster, you're going to level faster and smoother. The upgrades are going to feel more like side grades. Rather than like big giant overhauls. And like, yeah, I guess if you're like a really fast speed leveler, that's different. But I'm taking my time. I'm really enjoying the process. I'm also not in a rush to get to the absolute pinnacle of, you know, I need to be level 60 by the time TBC. I'm trying to as a challenge. But it's not like it's the end of the world if I'm not at max level when TBC comes out. And I don't have to get max level in like one day when TBC goes to 70. Like, I don't have to get to Outlands as soon as it launches. Like, I don't know what people are obsessed with. It's going to be fun. In fact, it'd probably be better to, while everybody is like, you know, rushing around in Outlands, how about I instead go to all the places that people are abandoning, like Winter Spring and such, and do some, like, you know, skinning and like, well, I guess I don't have mining leveled up. I need a level engineering. I mean, I guess I could level up mining just temporarily. Like, while everybody's rushing around in Outlands, I could be tapping all the mining spots in Winter Spring, making some real gold for the people leveling up. Like, the people leveling up from 1 to 60 are going to need resources. And if all the people who are level 60 are going to go over to Outlands, that means that there's probably going to be, well, there's going to be other people who are like thinking like I am, obviously. But if I capitalize on the empty spaces, I can make some real gold. And then when everybody gets, all the rushers get to level 70, then I can go to Outlands when it's a little bit more calm and not have as many people per layer. Obviously, here's what's really going to happen. It's going to be a shit show for the entire expansion. There's going to be people, because they have layers, and there's so many people on Nightslayer, there's going to be a huge influx of players. Absolutely huge influx of, like, people do not understand, like, how this game works now. This isn't your grandma's WoW. Okay, this is WoW in 2026 coming up. Okay, basically, it's going to be 100% at all times. Basically, it's a single-player game now. And I know people get upset about it. It's not, because you can play with your guild members, you can play with your friends, you can make friends, obviously. So, like, you want to think, like, a little bit differently now. I feel like if you treat this game as if you log on at any time of day, there's something to do. Which basically makes it a single player game, depending on what you're doing. Obviously, because you can go into the dungeon or raid finder, right? You want to do Naxxramas right now. You want to go into raids. You want to look for Naxxramas. You refresh. Look at all these people looking for Naxxramas. I mean, that's not a ton of people. But all those people probably have friends, right? All these people probably have friends, right? They could probably say, hey, like, I got like 5 people that are going to log on if you invite me, right? They probably have Discords. So it's like, you know, you talk to these people and you get something going. You send them a private message. You say, hey, do you know anybody else who's going to join in if I invite you? Like, hey, do you want to join my raid queue? And, you know, let your guild know. Let your friends know. You know, let your Discord know. You know, like, if you want to do Naxxramas right now, you could start doing that. Start making it happen. See, this rogue is queuing up as tank, healer, and DPS. Need 1 or 2 okay, so this person probably knows those people, right? This person's name is Namus. This person probably lived specifically to do Naxxramas. So this person probably has people on Discord literally ready with notifications enabled. If this rogue gets invited, you're not just inviting the rogue. You're inviting the rogue's crew. Okay, like, this is how you should think about the game. You shouldn't think, I'm going to be the best possible and I'm going to be, like, locked into my own little world. Like, no, you can do that, but also with the caveat that you're also connected. Like, there's like a mix between ego and non-ego. Like, I feel like that's That's the way to really play the game, I think. That's how I always played MMOs. Like, that's how I played Final Fantasy. Oh no, I missed the boat. It's like all those people thinking they're gonna miss TBC just because they're not level 60 right now. You're not gonna miss out on TBC. As soon as TBC launches, you're gonna be able to get to level 60. You're gonna be able to do Outlands. You're gonna be able to raid. You have like a whole year and a half or whatever until Wrath of the Lich King. Okay. You're gonna be fine. Stop ruining your play experience. If that's how you enjoy the game, that's one thing. I'm kind of like that. I like having that pressure. If that's how you enjoy the game, that's different. But if you're like pissed off and you're like your whole day is ruined because you didn't get a drop in Naxxramas, like, you're thinking about the game in like a very, like, you're setting yourself up for failure. Like, you're setting yourself up for, if I don't get this drop, I will be unhappy today. That's ridiculous. It's drops rarely happen, and there's other people who want the drop. You might need to do a couple raids before it's your turn. You know, like, you got to do your due diligence. You got to do your duty. That's why they call it a guild. It's a crew. Like, you gotta work for each other. You gotta put in the time. Like, that's how it works. And if, like, you're like, oh, if I don't get this item, I'm gonna break my PC, I'm gonna uninstall the game, I'm gonna delete my character. Like, what the hell? Anyway, I gotta get some water. Me and my freaking umbrella that I have to have in my room because when it starts raining, otherwise, like, rain will start dripping on my head while I'm on my computer. It's ridiculous. I have to have a fucking umbrella in my room. What the hell is going on? I hate this place, man. Like, here's what happened. This morning I'm trying to get the bags of beans. Okay? Trying to get the bags of beans. My shoe fell off when I went out to get water because I tripped on the cord. Okay? Like, I went out to try to get my beans. And I dropped my big giant, like, $40 container of olive oil, and it started dripping onto the floor. I just put like a freaking one of those paper grocery bags over it, and then like a full unfolded box over it, because I'm like, I'm moving out of here. I don't give a fuck anymore. My dad clearly doesn't give a fuck about this place. He's basically just duct tape everything together. He doesn't care about this place that was gifted to him, that was actually supposed to be mine. I don't want it anymore. My dad ruined his own place. He doesn't care about himself, doesn't care about his life. So why should I care about some oil that spilled? I'm just going to cover it up because I'm moving out of here soon. I don't give a fuck. You know, people are going to get mad at me. Like, you have no idea what I'm dealing with. So shut the fuck up. Like, oh, you know, he's your dad. It's like, dude, I'm his daughter. I don't even want to get into family drama. Leave that shit off stream. I pretty much just, like, anybody who comments about my personal life, pretty much like an auto, like, permaban. Like, pretty much. Within reason, obviously. But, I don't know. It's just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm moving out of here. My dad can put his own life together if he wants. I'm not going to help him anymore. I'm not going to enable him. That's actually what he needs, right? He needs to actually wake up one day and want to change his life. And I don't know if that's going to happen. So I've been wanting to, I've been working on, I haven't been wanting to change my life. I have been changing my life, right? I've been steering the ship. I'm the fucking captain. So, you know, I'm the captain, okay? So, you know, I'm the captain of my own ship. And I've been working really hard to make my life worth living and make it better. So, and it's paying off. You know, it's probably faster than I realized. I'm out of here soon. I'm moving out of here. I got my resources together. My team is working. They got stuff on the way. Okay, so like things are, I'm just going to be able to like never look behind me ever again. If my dad wants to better his life, he can do it without me, because I have tried to help him for so many years and he just doesn't want to be helped. He has to actually wake up one day and realize the shit he's in and just like do something about it. Anyway, that's not my responsibility. I need to be responsible for myself, you know, and I'm doing that. So I need to be happy. I have nothing but clear skies ahead of me. I have worked hard to make that happen. It's not like it's just charity. Okay, I worked really hard to make what, and I'm going to be rewarded for it. That's the thing, is it doesn't look like it right now. It looks miserable right now. But like when things start working out, it's going to start working out. And it's going to be pretty clear. That's what my entire team keeps reminding me of. They're like, they already know that it's going to be better, and I need to trust them. Because they've done this for like thousands of other people. They've done this process before. I need to trust the process. Even though it's so hard. Like, when you've seen your life, like, barely move an inch from your efforts, your whole entire life, it's hard to trust when somebody says, you know, hold on, it's going to get better. I'm like, I have no evidence to prove to me that it's going to get better. But I have to, like, you know, let go of that need to, you know, I don't have all the facts. You know, they have information I don't. They have experience I don't. So I need to trust that. You know, they've gone through this, you know, this is their job. Is they help people like me, or people even with even more dire situations than me. They help them, you know, into better life situations. And I'm even better off because I'm advocating for myself so much. A lot of people don't know how to advocate for themselves, or they're too exhausted to. I do it anyway because I know that it's going to pay off. Just like leveling up, you know, getting gear and stuff in World of Warcraft, it pays off in the long run. It makes things smoother because you put up a lot of work up front and it pays off in the long run because, you know, you get like compounded returns on investment. Like when you do certain things in your life, it seems like it's a lot of effort, but then when it starts to pay off, you're going to notice it. It's hard to notice when it's not actually in front of you. And that's like what my case manager was telling me. It's really hard, especially for people on the spectrum, to see things if they can't see it literally in front of them. Like, I have to keep my toothbrush and my toothpaste on my desk, or I forget to brush my teeth. But, you know, that's why I keep my toothbrush on my desk. I have to use this electric toothbrush because it's, first of all, it's more effective. My, you know, my oral hygienist, even told me about it. It has like an automatic timer, so you do 30 seconds per quadrant. If I don't have something right in front of me, I forget that it exists. There's a known this is a known and researched phenomenon for people on the spectrum, on the autism spectrum. Or at least autistic-like traits. With some people don't get a diagnosis, like a lot of people have autistic traits. I think that's where people say like, oh, everybody's a little autistic. That's kind of true because there's autistic traits. But you need to understand that autism is a collection of traits. And getting a diagnosis, and then also there's a whole other layer of it, getting declared permanently disabled. That's a completely separate ballgame because that's a combination of not just autism. It's like environmental factors, mental health factors, like life circumstance factors, like that have made me like very at a pretty big disadvantage. But I've been working hard to mitigate those things. I've been working hard to make sure that those things stop. I didn't just give up. I didn't just say, oh, this is just how it's always going to be. I'm just going to give up. No, my case manager at North Bay Regional Center was telling me people who advocate as much as you do end up getting help a lot sooner than others. So I'm going to keep advocating for myself. I'm not going to stop fighting. I'm going to keep pushing for a better life. You're never going to see me give up. And hopefully, you know, things get better soon. I have some meetings coming up in January, so... Sorry, today's just a little harder than most because you know, it's like sometimes something happens and it's like it pisses you off. Like I dropped the oil. And then it just reminds you of how shitty my situation. It just woke me up out of like it's not like, you know, sometimes I have to be a little bit delusional, like just to survive, right? Like I have to pretend that this isn't a shit show.
What's up? Keep it real. Be good.
And then like I think just seeing like the situation with how cramped things are, with how like easily it was for me to just how shitty my environment is. Seeing the oil fall on the floor and spill onto the floor, it just reminded me of like the reality of this situation, and it kind of made me feel like a bit upset. So, but I'm reminding myself right now, like there's help on the way. I'm not alone. You know, and I'm not just talking about my stream, the few viewers of you who are here, you know, cheering me on. Obviously, you're very much appreciated, but I want you to rest assured I have real life support. I'm not just relying on internet. Okay, I need you to understand this about me. I know it's so easy to see that. You only see what you see on social media. It's really hard to see the bigger picture. I'm not one of those cases of people that's just, you know, I'm streaming on Twitch so I could save my life. Like, no, that's not what's going on. I need people to understand that because I know for a fact that people do that. I'm not just relying on, you know, hopefully I get donations and I can fix my life. Like, no, that's not what's going on. You guys are not my life support. That would be absolutely insane. That's the stupidest decision you could ever possibly make. It's not going to work. And maybe it would, but I'm not going to count on that. I'm going to count on the real resources, the disability resources I have, that I have lifetime access to now. And the reason why I have it is because I kept fighting for it. Oh, that person phased the fuck out. Oh, never mind. Oh shit, there's a rogue. Fuck. Fuck! Oh, fuck. If it were just the rogue or just the... Oh, God. God damn it. That was exciting. I want to get that, probably got a... I probably got a layer. But you know, I have like real verified like disability resources for life. And the specific like people involved and the specific like agencies involved might come and go, but there's always going to be people on my team now. I have basically like I achieved something in life that not a lot of people in my position are able to do. That's saying something, okay? It's not nothing. It's not like charity, okay? I achieved this. Not a lot of people in my position are able to advocate for themselves for this long. Most people just kind of give up, you know? They just kind of go on autopilot. Maybe I can, yeah, just waiting for this elite to show up. Yeah, I don't know. I got things put together. I know it's hard to see it because but my living situation is just, it's almost like just laughable. Like, yeah, it sucks, but it's just like, it's not about me. Like, it's external. It's like I'm in this situation that I think I can look, I think, you know, I can get out of here and I can see this as just like, oh, that was a really dark time in my life. But I'll be moved past it. I'll be away from it. There he is. Let's go. Get this motherfucker. There we go. Loot him just in case Horde decides to show up. Alright, done with this quest. Let's go finish that one. And then after that one, or whatever quest chain that goes into, I'm pretty sure that goes into the quest chain, into that insect den. Over here. Oh, I got some stuff in Goro to finish up too. Yeah, so let's go after we do this, the quest in here. Let's finish up some Ngoro. And what is this? Yeah, let's do this shit too. Come on. Oh, come on. Fuck. Hunters are hard. Even lower levels. Like, it's just crazy. It's okay, that's how we learn. We gotta do trial and error. Just keep going, keep trying. Yeah, we'll figure out all the different PvP pair-ups, especially in arenas. Arenas are gonna get us really good. Yeah, I'm excited about TBC. We're gonna be doing some arenas. That'll get us a lot better at PvP. We're gonna be PvPing at the wazoo, okay? Yeah, we'll get some PvP streams. Warrior POV, Warrior PvP POV. Warrior PvP POV. Warrior PvP POV. Okay, well that was kind of a wash. Oh god. Still here. Fuck you! Band of the Hawk. Berserk. Berserker Barrage! So yeah, I just, I'm trying to see, like, the big picture here, you know? It's like, yeah, there's certain things that I could be technically doing, to make my life better, more proactively, but actually, at the same time, sometimes you want to focus on just, like, you know, I'm gonna have a better living situation pretty soon. I have people whose full-time job is to find me a better living situation. I'm gonna have a meeting coming up in January. Like at the beginning of January, so probably around, maybe even next week. Okay, so I just need to make sure to hold on a little bit longer. We're getting to the point where people are, my case manager is literally talking about, last couple of times I'm talking about him, saying, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna get probably to the point where we're actually going out and looking at houses for you to live in. So you can pick which... Fuck you! Stop it! Fuck off! We already get it. You can get a 55 warrior. Get over your dick size, bro. Come on, we get it. You can kill a warrior 10 level higher than you. We get it. Fuck off. We can see your girth. Okay, we get it. I'm just gonna wait until that guy leaves. Yeah, so it's like, I have absolutely no idea how much things can change for the better once I'm in a new environment with mentorship. You know, it's like, it's a mentor home. Which pretty much, you know, I know it's hard to, like, really understand, like, what it really means. Basically, it just means it's a place to live. A healthy environment with people that are, like, you know, they go through, like, a vetting process with an agency that's sole mission is to help people like me. I'm in the right place. Okay, like, I could have been a loser and just... oh guys, I'm streaming for 14 hours a day on Twitch, let's get some followers, let's get partner. Like, I could have done that these past 5 years, these past 6 years. But instead, I was like, okay, well, that's not going to work. Let's actually go to the real resources that I need. Let's actually get these people together, people who can actually help me. And, like, let's make sure that we, you know, they're all working behind the scenes. So then I'm not just, it's not just me, right? It's just, you know, and then I can, like, you know, use streaming in a different way, right? Like, I'm using streaming as like a live stream journal to, like, document, you know, and keep myself focused more so than the documenting. But it also gives evidence of progress that I can actually go back and go to different VODs throughout these past 6 years. Some of them are gone. Some of them I kind of moved. There's a point, like, after each, like, stuff before my surgeries, I generally don't like watching because it's just kind of depressing. I've already moved past that. I'm done with the surgeries. So, but, you know, I can go back and see how far I've come, though. You know, in 5 years from now, you know, within the next year, hopefully, I'm going to be, you know, I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty soon. Like, within the next month or two, I'm actually going to be moved out of here. Then I'm going to be a little bit more situated. I'm going to be able to start, you know, I'm starting a job soon as a model. That's a big deal. These next 5 years can see absolutely exponential growth in my life. 5 years is a long fucking time. A lot can happen for the better or for worse, but a lot can happen in 5 years. I have a 5-year plan, okay? I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep pushing for a better and better and better life. In 5 years, I'm going to be unrecognizable with how successful I am. You guys have no idea. Or maybe you do. But I'm going to keep pushing, it's going to be like relative, right? If I get to a new bar, I'm going to keep pushing for a higher bar. I'm not just going to settle as like, part-time model. Okay. I'm going to be like networking, getting, even paying money out of my own pocket to professional photographers and makeup artists. In coaching. I'm going to find people to collab with. I'm going to find people who are like-minded. People who are not going to tear me down, but people who are going to lift me up. And I'm going to lift them up. I'm going to find my crew. And it starts with me. I started with me. I got to be a crew first. And then I've been finding my team who are working in the background. My professional, clinical side of things, because I have disabilities. But they're making it into a fundamental, like they're fundamentally making myself to be not disabled anymore through external support, right? Sometimes you need a wheelchair, right? They're my wheelchair. It's a little bit more invisible because it's like a social, economic, emotional, developmental disorder rather than like a physical disorder.
Glad I could help. Keep it real.
Okay, so what do I gotta do now? Okay, well now I got this bullshit I gotta find. Okay, let's start looking for this shit. Oh, there they are. And the little circles in the sand. Yeah, I mean that's how people, you know, there's no such thing as a self-made billionaire. Either they inherited something or they built something out of the fucking ground. With a group of people, with a crew. Okay? Like there's no shame in needing help. It's smart. And you need to find people that are going to lift you up and not tear you down. I shouldn't have to change who I am. Like obviously there's a give and take. I am very flexible. I can work with pretty much anybody. Honestly, I know it's hard to believe as a trans woman who is like a disability and is considered woke or whatever. I think I would even be able to work with Asmongold. Because I feel like I understand how business works at like a, you know, at least it's not about whether you like people. It's about whether you can work with people. If it benefits everybody, it doesn't matter. Now, I'm going to seek out people who are like-minded for the most part. I would rather not have to change who I am as a fundamental person to work with people. But I'm just trying to illustrate like how flexible I am. I am a businesswoman, first and foremost. I have a team of people that I put together from absolute nothingness. You have to look at it from my perspective. These people existed. These agencies existed. I didn't know they existed. They weren't accessible to me. I made them accessible through sheer force of will. Why are you forcing will? And so like that's how it's all going to start, right? This is the beginning. It's not the end. Their goal is, this is a start, right? Them finding me housing, like a proper living situation, them finding me the kind of like social resources I need, that's the beginning of like what is probably, I don't know exactly. See, I like to think of things as like, you know, steps and phases. I don't need to see the entire path in order to move forward. I just need to see like far enough that I know that it's the right direction. And that might change depending on the situation, but as long as I know that I'm going in the right direction, I can just keep moving forward, and then I can see, and then I can reassess later and say, am I really going the right direction? Like, you know, do I need to change direction? Like, that's all stuff that can happen as I go, right? But this is only the beginning. Like I said, I can get proper coaching. I can get proper like experience, proper collaboration with like makeup artists, hairstylists, photographers, content creators. Those are the people that I'm going to be finding over the next 5 years. I know it's hard to believe, but your life is only just getting started in your 30s. And your 40s can probably be the best, absolute best time of your life or the worst time of your life, depending on who you are and what you've done to prepare yourself. I've seen some people, they don't even get started in places like Hollywood, which are notoriously cutthroat and selective. People who you would never think would be successful. Robert Downey Jr. Like, he had gone to prison. I'm pretty sure, like, at least, like, he's been, like, and then, like, I think he'd been in jail, like, multiple times as well. Robert Downey Jr. had gone to prison. He was determined by Hollywood to be uninsurable. But he got the proper people around him. He changed. He worked really fucking hard. And he got the coaching required and the advocacy required. And he is fucking Iron Man. That sounds a little bit weird out of context, doesn't it? He's fucking Iron Man. Oh my god. You see those tears? Those are real tears, but do you also see how I can also laugh in the same sentence? I'm an actor. That is actor material. She needs sponsorship. She needs advocacy today. That's what they would say if they saw my whole profile. If they saw my whole track record. That's what somebody would say. I know that. That's what my team knows. If they knew everything I've gone through, if they've known all the work I've gone through, if they've seen the progress I've made, and they looked at it on paper and they decided, oh, let's not give her any opportunities, they would be the stupidest motherfucker on this planet. What somebody who had power to give me opportunities would say if they saw my whole entire record, my whole entire track record, my whole entire profile, my whole entire skill set, they would say, she needs to be here today. We need to get her signed on. She's an asset, not a liability. That is how hard I've worked. And I think like Robert Downey Jr. is like a perfect example of like, it's never like, you know, obviously there might be certain things that are like, okay, like if you're just like a complete, like we don't need to go there. But if you work hard enough with the right support, with the right advocacy for long enough, you can get where you need to be. And sometimes things are just timing or luck or whatever, but you make your luck by showing up and keep putting your name in the fucking hat. If you're not putting your name in the hat, you're not going to get those opportunities. But, you know, putting your name in the hat can mean a lot of things. Like, it can mean, like, you are, like, putting yourself in a situation where you're surrounding yourself with successful people. People who have decision-making power. People who are going to be able to fight for you and advocate for you. And people don't like to accept that. They have too much of an ego problem. They think they need to do it all by themselves. You're never going to do it by yourself. There's always going to be somebody higher than you that's going to be dangling resources over your head. And instead of fighting them, you should work with them. Because instead of dangling over your head, you could see it as, hey, I need help getting this. I'm going to lift you up so that you can lift me up. I think that's the healthier way of seeing the situation. Not they're dangling it over your head. It's that, hey, my arm is stuck. Can you help me get it down? That's how you should see it. We help each other. Even if it's not seen as helping, even if you're trying to do things for your own personal gain and your own best interest, you still need to help each other at some point. And I think that's like a lot of people, they have a hard time accepting that they need help. The kind of help that I'm getting, a lot of people are too proud. They have an ego problem that's holding them back. It's saying, oh, well, I don't want to be seen as somebody who has special needs. You know, this was me. I felt that way. I was like, I don't want to look like I'm disabled. I don't want to seem like some... It's like, well, if I don't get the help I need, I'm definitely going to look like I'm disabled because I will be. It's not going to look like, it's going to be true. Instead, I could, you know, suck it up, ask for help, and then get rid of the disability by getting the help I need, being successful. That kind of attitude that I have is what successful people look for when they want to work with people. And if I keep doing what I'm doing, things will work out some way or another. I don't know how, I don't know when, but if I keep living like that, I will soar beyond my wildest dreams. And then people will look back and they'll see that this wasn't magic. This wasn't me being lucky. This wasn't like the industry being, playing favorites. They will see that I found every single resource that I needed to do, and I grinded, and I grinded, and I grinded until it worked. And then people in the masses will be able to have video evidence of this whole process documented across 6, 7, 8 years, however long it takes. And they will stop feeling like failures, and they will be able to do whatever they need to in their own life instead of going on the internet and blaming successful people for their problems. Everybody will benefit from what I'm going to achieve. Successful people will benefit, and people who are in the trenches, giving up, about ready to give up, people who are grinding, those people can stop wasting time on blaming other people for their problems and see that this is not magic. This is systematic finding of resources and doing whatever is necessary at whatever given time to make things work in some way or another. Not in the way that you are forcing it to, but in the way that is going to work. Whatever that looks like for you. And then being okay with that. And learning that, it's not permanent. You might be able to change. If you get yourself to a better situation, you're going to be way more likely to steer the ship better. You may not get it right away, but at least you can do something about it. Instead of just being, I'm going to go on social media and, get pissed at some successful person for being, showered with donations and showered with gifts and being, getting all these sponsorships. What if you're upset about people being successful? What if it happened to you? You clearly wouldn't be upset if it happened to you, and you would have earned it, because it doesn't just happen. Maybe there are a few random people you could say that it just happened to because they, some kind of nepotism or whatever. But, people do not become successful on accident. And people don't like to hear it. People are like, nobody likes to hear it when, successful people complain. People who are making millions of dollars complain or whatever. And I get it, but it's just if you flipped it around and that was you, you would not be upset that you were successful because you would have earned it. You would have made it happen. It would have been hard, because it is hard. And I want to be able to show people that, with transparency, that this process is not rocket science. It is not luck. You make your own luck. You just keep showing up and doing whatever you need to do on that given day. And you keep doing that until things work, and you adjust course as you need to. You find the people around you. You surround yourself with people who are going to make those things happen. Which is what I've been doing over and over and over again. And I will not stop until I'm successful. And then when I'm successful, I'm going to keep moving. I'm not going to stop. Sorry, I get a little bit emotional sometimes. Today's kind of an emotional day. Sometimes I need to just remind myself of all the work I've done. Because it's so easy to, like, forget about it. It's so easy to, like, look at everything you've done and feel like a failure. It's so easy. But, like, I look at everything I've accomplished, and it was not a given. Like, I could have just as easily failed. But I kept getting back up, and I kept getting the people together that I needed to get together. I worked with doctors. I worked with, like, organizations. And I got my surgeries to happen. It was not a given. I was successful in a way that even people who have way more resources, like financial resources than me, are not able to make happen. And it's because of pure force of will. Just refusing to put my sword and shield down. Refusing to wave the white flag. That's why we have the hymn of the faith, you know. Sometimes you just have to hold on that you know, you're working towards something, and that there's things that you don't see right now. That's what faith is. There are things working invisibly. That even, you know, you're gonna do whatever you can to work with what you've got. You're gonna do whatever you can to, like, change the, shift the wind. You know, you can't shift the wind, but you can change the sails. And it's so easy to look at my situation on like a purely superficial level and look at, you know, my situation and pity me or feel sorry for me or whatever, and then or laugh at me or harass me about it. But then when things start to change, you're going to completely change the song you're singing. These same people are going to be, like, begging to include me, to have me include them in their lives. So, like, I can see the big picture. Yeah, let's go down towards here. There seems to be a higher density of these. Just like World of Warcraft, you don't just automatically level to 60. Like, you have to actually go out and do the quests. You have to make it work. You have to grind the mobs. You have to do the dungeons. Nobody's gonna do it for you. I mean, this is what this game, like, has taught me. That if you want something, go get it. This game is 100% about that. This game is a training course in persistence. You want something? Make it happen. Do what it takes. You will get it. You will be rewarded. This is what this game teaches. It doesn't matter about your ego. People are going to get mad. They're going to be like, why did you get that? You know, why did you get that and I didn't? Well, it's because I worked harder than you. Or maybe I got lucky. Maybe I got RNG, you know, to get the drop faster than you. Cry harder. Because you can get the item too. If you really work at it. You're saying, oh, but, you know, but pickup groups are terrible. There's always people, there's all these bots. They are, you know, gold sellers are ruining the economy. Well, then find friends. Make a guild. Level up your own professions. Make a spreadsheet. Figure out how you're going to get the drops. Do the raids. If you can't do pickup groups because you're not buying gold or whatever, and you think, oh, it's soft reserve, well, then make your own guild. Make it work. Find a guild, train the guild, work together. That's what this game is about. This game was designed with social structure in mind. And yeah, you could look at current retail and they did make things easier, but you could also scale that. You could utilize the tools in current retail way better if you have an organized guild. It scales. It's easier for this, you know, average player, you know, the casual gamer, but it also means that, like, it scales. If you are going to be super organized, you're going to get more payoff than the people who are just hitting the, you know, the dungeon queue. You know? Add people to your friend list. Make a guild. You can play this whole entire game without using the auction house. If you have enough people organized, you get a spreadsheet. Who's doing tailoring? Who's doing mining? Who's doing skinning? Who's doing herbalism? Who's doing you know, who's doing which profession, you know, whatever. We need these items for raid. Who's going to farm this area? Who's going to farm this area? Who, like, I want you to do this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I want you to do this, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Who's doing what on what day? And everybody benefits from it. You don't have to rely on pickup groups if you really work hard at it. So people who complain about the economy, people who complain about gold sellers, well, those gold sellers only benefit because you keep buying from them. Stop buying from them. Make friends. That's what this game was made for. Make a guild. Make a Discord. Make a spreadsheet. Okay, like, I mean, you don't have to do that. You could do, you know, just do the pickup groups and just not care. But if you do care, if you're getting so angry that you're raging on social media every day about it, and you hate the game because of it, either quit the game or actually play the game, because you're not playing the game. You're thinking like a single player. You're not thinking like a team player. You're not thinking like a guild. It's not just about you. Everybody has a part to play. Every class, every spec, everybody has a part to play. And if you want the gear, you have to pay your dues. Oh, I don't want to be a team player. I just want to, you know, join a guild and get all the gear I want and then, you know, not even help anybody. Like, come on. Maybe if you're unethical. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting a little bit passionate about it because it's like, it's not about the game, right? It's about real life. You know, I'm projecting. I'm projecting my own situation into the game, which can be positive. It's not like it's a negative thing. Projecting, we all do things based on like what passions we have in real life, right? Whatever situation, like whatever you're going through in your personal life, it's gonna come across in how you do other things, how you perform at work, how you perform, you know, during your gaming sessions. Your real life is going to affect how you behave, and it's not about stopping it. It's about understanding that that exists. And saying, okay, like, you know, I'm going to have like unconscious, like subconscious things affecting my actions in game and on stream. Okay, like the things that I talk about, the things that I'm passionate about, they exist because of my real life circumstances. But you can be a victim of your circumstances, or you can shape it and mold it. Be a shapeshifter. Work with it, not against it. You're not trying to erase it, you're trying to utilize it. Those things can be the bane of your existence, or they could be your savior. They can make you they can help you accomplish absolutely life-changing things, possibly even world-changing things. You know, I think what it is that I think some people are just, they want to have it both ways. They want to have a guild, but they don't want to do the work, you know. Find people who are willing to pull their weight. And if you have people, you know, that's why you should have multiple people to fulfill roles. If some person isn't able to, like, I'm pretty selfish. Like, I'm probably going to start my own guild someday. Like, you know, but instead I'm going to be a part of a guild, and I'm going to pull my weight and see, you know, learn from my guild mates. And maybe one day I'll have to start my own guild, because I'm just going to have things my own way. And the way I run things is people need to, you know, if we want something, we don't need to use the auction house. Like, if the economy is what's causing all this pain for people to play, then make our own economy. We don't need to worry about the economy in the game if everybody is guild found. Right? Like, if you have people who have professions leveled, if you have people going out there and getting the mats, you know, save time by finding the ones that aren't screwed by the economy. You get all the cheap shit. But, like, if you really want to, you know, you don't have to. You know, you don't have to utilize, you know, the global, you know, economy for, you know, getting what you need in the game. You can use people's efforts, because how do you think it gets on the auction house in the first place? Somebody has to go out and grind it. So you could just grind it instead. And it's not just about you. You could say like you and like 4 other people can start a group and go farm a specific dungeon for specific items. Or actually spend time farming a raid. And maybe skip out on the actual raid runs. Make a second raid group that is specifically farming for something. I don't know. I'm just thinking... I'm just trying to think out the box here, you know? Letting ideas kind of flow.
Yo! Keep it real! Glad I could help! Keep it real! What's up? Hurry back!
Oh, I gotta go to Ratchet. Ratchet is kind of far. It's like... in Barrens. Well, I guess if you look at it this way. Yeah, I guess the Barrens isn't that far, huh? Oops. Yeah, don't mind me. I just get really passionate about things. I think sometimes people mistake passion for being upset. Or being worked up. That's not what's going on. This isn't my first rodeo. I've been around on this planet for a while. And I'm just getting started, you know, 38. I'm turning 38 in a few weeks, okay? Like, I'm just fucking getting started. I think people have, like, a lot of pessimism about age. They're like, oh, it's over, I'm not attracted. Like, some people don't start their careers in modeling or acting. Industries that people think that they can only get into if they're, like, in their, like, teenage years. You know, like, whatever, if they're, like, 20-something, if they look, like, absolutely, like, a certain way. Some people don't make it until they're like 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Okay? And then also, like, you can look at some, like, actors and actresses, like, they look absolutely, like, beautiful. And you can say, oh, it's because they got work done. So? So fucking what? They did the work. Why does that matter? Like, yeah, I got some work done. I got facial surgery because I felt ugly. I had masculine features. And I got them changed. So what? I changed my body with estrogen. So what? I got vaginoplasty so I didn't have a dick anymore. So fucking what? Cry harder.
Have a good one.
Because I got what I wanted. And it pays off. And yeah, like, I could be working harder right now, but I'm kind of like in depression mode, and I'm kind of allowing that to happen for now. But it's gonna change, you know? Nothing's permanent. You can always change your life today. But I'm kind of like selectively choosing where I put my energy. So I'm gonna put my energy into WoW right now, because I feel like that's the most beneficial thing I could do right now. I got people working in the background, and they can't even really do anything until after the holidays, like next month. So I'm gonna enjoy WoW, because I have free time right now. I might not have free time later, so I'm gonna have less time to play when I have less free time. So I'm gonna make use of it, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm not gonna feel bad about it. Try harder. You want me to feel bad about it? I don't.
Have a good one.
I'm talking to invisible ideas that may or may not exist. Because obviously, here's the thing. People say, oh, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? I'm talking to the potential people that I know have those ideas. Even though they're not in my chat right now. So it's like, that's... Just because somebody's not actively asking the question doesn't mean the question doesn't exist. It's like, this is a basic concept of, like, philosophy, right? you ask questions that are not asked on purpose. Because you don't need to wait for someone to ask the question. You know that somebody is going to ask that question.
Talk to me. Hurry back.
Okay, so now I need to go in there. Okay, let's check out the auction house really quick. I think it's funny. I had no idea there's an auction house here. Oops. Wrong one. Yeah, Rebecca is somebody who's tapped into the world soul. That's who she is. She gets it. That's what they would say. The people who are in charge of giving me opportunities. She is somebody who found the energy of the planet and started utilizing it instead of complaining about it. Instead of letting it control her, she found out how it worked, and she's starting to figure out how to ride the wave. Like, I may not be perfect right now. I may not know what's going on right now, but I'm on the path towards that. Which is the only path you can ever be on. You can never be there just unless you're just gonna like just be like, oh, I'm gonna wait for other people to decide my life for me. Like, no, the only thing you can really do
Good day to you. Off and away.
is try to make things work with the knowledge you have now. And then get to a place where you have better understanding, and then keep doing that algorithm.
Yo. Keep it real.
Okay, yeah, let's finish this quest. Go to Ratchet later. Oh, there's a quest turn-in. I need to get rid of that. That head. Chief Engineer. Bilge Whistle. Bulge Whistle. Oh, is he outside here? Yeah, people are gonna think I'm stupid. People are gonna think I'm weird. People are gonna get mad at me. Fuck them. Get mad.
Time is money.
I'm gonna
friend.
succeed and I'm gonna be happy. And I don't need you. These people who are gonna tear you down, you don't need them.
Have a good one.
That's one of the things, like, people talk about, like, people like Asmongold, for example. People talk about how much of a problem he is. And it's like, okay, yeah, he's got shitty attitudes about things sometimes. Certain things, it's just, he's really problematic. But, like, I feel like he's, like, at least trying to have the discussion. He might be really stubborn. He might be really, like, insufferable. But one of the few... That doesn't mean every single thing about him is bad. He has something that we can learn from. He has knowledge of, you know, things that people should learn from. He has what's called... He has, like, a superhuman level of self-acceptance. Like, radical self-acceptance. Now, sometimes that can be a bad thing, but you can learn from it and adapt it to yourself. Learn what not to do. And that doesn't mean everything he does is bad, though. Like, some things he's really right about. And one of those things is like radical self-acceptance. And also not trying to work as hard as possible, but trying to find the things that are going to lead you to be successful. Find and do the things required to become successful. That might involve hard work. There's going to be work. Like, there's going to be hard work. And hard work does pay off, but you have to be selective about it. Only work hard when you need to. Don't work hard on things if you don't have to. What, just to satisfy your ego? You don't want people making fun of you? Fuck them. That self-serving attitude can be negative sometimes, but seeing reality doesn't make you a bad person on its own. Like, understanding that caring about what other people think about how you achieved your success should not be a barrier for you. Otherwise, you have some other issue you need to deal with, which is a personal mental health problem, like an ego problem. You need people to respect you a certain way. You need people to look at you and say, oh, I respect her because, you know, she didn't succeed just by doing, like, you know, OnlyFans. Like, fuck you. I'm going to do OnlyFans. I'm going to do OnlyFans even harder now just to piss you off. I'm going to be on Pornhub. Fuck you. I'm going to be a fucking porn star. Fuck off. I don't need you. You think I care what you think? I'm going to be a motherfucking porn star. Try harder. I mean, I feel like they're just jealous. They wish they could do it. But they're not willing to do the work. They're not willing to sacrifice, you know, like it's a lot of work. Like, why do you think I'm not successful yet? It takes a lot of work. But I'm going to put that energy in where it matters. And so right now I can't really. Like, I could, but you know, like, let's be honest. Like, there are better things I could be doing to maintain the long-term picture of things, right? Anyway, like, basically, what am I trying to say? Basically, there are going to be people who refuse to be successful because of the way because it matters to them how they become successful. That is holding you back. That is a failing attitude. That is a loser mentality. You shouldn't care how you get success. You know, if like, it's your life. It matters. If you can become successful by, you know, like, getting help from somebody who's in a position, like, that is just as valid as grinding it yourself. Getting help from somebody who's in a position to help you is the smart thing to do. Why should you work harder when you don't need to? You can put that hard energy, like, that hard work could be better spent working hard on something that's actually going to matter. So you're being selfish. If you think that you need to look a certain way, like, to other people, oh, I need to be respected. I need to have the appearance that I need to be, you know, people need to, like, I need to have self-value. I need to respect myself. No, you fucking don't. You don't respect yourself because you're not making the decisions that will lead you to success. You're allowing yourself to wallow in your own failure because of your ego. That is way less respectful, in my opinion. That is somebody who's not willing to do what it takes just because they're worried about their self-image. They're worried about how, like, oh, you got to success by, begging on the street for help. Hey, like, somebody who's begging on the street because they're homeless, and they find the right people, somebody who's going to like, give them a path forward, help them, clean up, get a suit, they pay for like a hotel stay, or they even open up their home for them. They take a shower, they get clean clothes, they get them off, into a rehab center if they're on like have a drug addiction. They do the work. Why does it matter if they got help or not? They needed help. It's not charity. It's what they need. It's like if you're in World of Warcraft, you can't solo a dungeon. You need a team of 5 people. Like, yeah, there's certain situations where you could just go super sweaty and do something crazy, like whatever, with a small group, or, even just by yourself. But we're not talking about that. Why should you have to? That's just like an accomplishment. That's a challenge. If you just want to complete the dungeon and complete the quests and get the gear, why does it matter if you got help? You need help. It's a social game. We're here to help each other, right? Just like in real life. Real life, you should care even less about whether or not you got help. If a billionaire showed up to your door and gave you like $1 million and access to resources, like social resources, like professional, like business resources, you would be freaking out of your mind if you didn't utilize that. Why does it matter how you got the money? Why does it matter, like, if you needed help to get it? Like, that idea is so ridiculous. It's already so hard to succeed in life. You need all the help you can get. I think as soon as people hit rock bottom, they stop caring. They start to get it. You don't need a fancy car just to, I need people to see that I'm successful. No, you're not. They just see that you're spending money on a car you don't need. They see that you're just like, you care so much about whether or not you look like you have money than actually doing what's required to be successful. Like, that's ridiculous. Oh, my success hinges on what other people think about me. Then you're already lost. Because at some point, all it takes is like one person to decide your fate. If you hinge your success on what other people think about you, you should already consider a failure. You should already be looking for an exit strategy. Out of that company, out of that situation, whatever it is. You should already be looking for a way out. If your success hinges on what somebody's opinion of you is, you've already failed. You should consider it to be already failed, even if you're succeeding. You need to find the way to a place where you don't need that, where you can be, you can find people that are not going to hold you up to that level of ridiculous standards. You're going to find people who lift you up rather than people who force you into a little tiny little box. And if you don't match that box, you're fired, or you're at least pressured to resign. Right? You should not surround yourself with people like that in your life. There's always going to be people like that. And you could, do what you need to be successful, but you should find a way out as soon as possible. That's what I'm saying. If those people are going to decide your life, you should already consider that they have already decided to replace you. Because at some point they will. If you have to change everything about... if they match your values, then that's one thing. But if you have to change everything about yourself just to succeed, you're going to want to try to mitigate that. Like, your goal then should be to find the people that aren't going to force you to work so hard. Your goal should be to work less, not more. Because when you need to work less, it frees you up to do more work. If that makes any sense. You have more free time, which means you're going to be more effective. Which means you can do things you wouldn't have been able to do if you spent all that energy trying to please some boss that isn't going to care about you and is going to replace you in a millisecond as soon as as you're an inconvenience. You don't want people like that deciding your life. You're going to get fucked. All it takes is one bad opinion and you're gone. All it takes is one negative, hey, I don't like how you, I don't like what you did. I don't like how you, I didn't like that thing you posted on social media. Like, if you're surrounding yourself with people that are going to turn their back on you the second you say something they don't like, you're in the wrong place. Those aren't the right people. Those are your enemies. If anything. I mean, at least they're not looking in your best interest. You should be finding people that lift you up. Not people who are going to tear you down as soon as you have an opinion they don't like. And with that, I do agree with Asmongold. There are people out there that have infinite nesting dolls of purity tests. I 100%, well, maybe not 100%, but like, I agree with Asmongold on that. I think that if your success hinges on what somebody's opinion of you is, you've already failed. That shouldn't matter. Like, to an extent. But, like, obviously, if somebody hates trans people, it's going to be really hard to work together. But if you're willing to meet, if people are willing to meet you in the middle, if people are willing to try, those people are way more important to me than somebody who's going to, you know, sing me with praises if I matched. You know, and this isn't about wokeness. This isn't about LGBT. This isn't about anything. It's just about humans, really. If you're surrounding yourself with people that are going to give you like all sorts of like, you know, benefits, if you match what they want from you, you should consider them to be your enemy. Even if it's benefiting you. You should try to leave as soon as possible. Find people who are, even if they're not the most pleasant people to work with, at least they can work with you and at least you can respect each other. That's way more important to me because it actually means that it's sustainable. A conversation can happen, right? But if somebody shuts the conversation down, you're in danger. If you're in a situation where no matter how bad things get, you can always sit down at a table and talk about it and try to figure out, you know, a solution. I don't care what you think about me. If you're willing to do that, that means that I'm safe. But if you're gonna create a situation where it's always hostile for me, I have to constantly worry about, you know, look behind my back at every single second about what I'm gonna say, if it's gonna offend somebody, if that offense, you know, it's like one thing if like it offends somebody, you have a conversation. Hey, like I didn't really like what you said at that party, and I'm like, oh man, I wasn't really being very considerate. Like, I was a bit drunk at that party. It's not an excuse, but like I'm gonna be more mindful of like how that, you know, of how that affects people. My bad. Like let's try to move forward from this, right? That's a conversation, and I might not be able to move forward from certain things, and you have to accept that. But at the same time, I would rather work with somebody who's willing to talk rather than somebody who's going to shut down the conversation. Even if that person was like super like pro LGBT, pro, you know, autism awareness, like even if somebody was like that, I would much rather work with a more like conservative person who at least respects me and doesn't like hold me up to such a high standard and who is willing to have conversations and learn together. That sounds like a much more pleasant work environment than somebody who's going to be like, as soon as I like eat meat and they're vegans, and if you're not a vegan, you know, like I have to pretend to be a vegan to stay at that company, right? And they find out I eat meat and then I lose my job. Or, you know, like that's ridiculous. I don't want to be in a situation like that. I eat meat. Cry harder. Get the fuck over it. I don't care if you're a vegan. I support it. I respect it. I'm not a vegan. I eat meat. Sometimes it's the most energy efficient food you can have. Protein. Energy. Energy you need to succeed. Okay, I will eat meat. I don't eat a lot of meat because it's expensive sometimes. I actually prefer eating vegan, actually, because it's healthier and cheaper most of the time. But if you eat vegan and you're going to get mad at me for eating meat, I'm not gonna be able to work with you, because as soon as you don't like, my success hinges on you accepting me. I'm gonna find people that are gonna work with me Not in spite of like our differences, but because we have a common goal, right? We're all trying to succeed. We're all trying to build each other up. Why would I want to surround myself with people who are going to limit my opportunities? Why am I going to surround myself with people who are going to make me feel miserable? Why am I going to surround myself with people that as soon as I have an opinion they don't like, I'm out? That's danger. To me, that's the enemy. That's so much stress. I don't want to live under that stress. I would rather live with people who are going to be like super chill. They might not understand me. They might not even like understand like transgender medicine, but at least like, hey, like they accept me into the crew. And like maybe we could have a conversation. Maybe they can learn how to be a little bit less offensive, because maybe they're not trying to be offensive. Maybe they just grew up in a certain circumstance or a certain set of world beliefs, and maybe they were just kind of swept away by it. But you know, we're all human beings and we're imperfect. Okay? Like, give people a fucking chance. Because if I don't give them a chance, why would they give me a chance? Okay? So, like, it's not about forgiving behavior. It's about understanding that people are not perfect. Because I'm not perfect. But we have conversations. We do what is necessary to meet a middle ground, or we find ways to part ways. But at the very least, there should always be some kind of conversation. Like, it's not always going to be pleasant. It's not always going to be what you want, but at least you're going to survive, right? We're out in a fucking desert, okay? We can't afford to be picky and choosy about who we work with. We need to like work together and survive in this fucked up world we live in. Okay? And like, I'm not gonna wait for someone to stop being transphobic to have a conversation, because if I start having a conversation with somebody, for example, I'm just gonna use an example, someone like Asmongold, who is unwittingly transphobic. He doesn't think he is, but it's just, he's unwittingly transphobic, extremely transphobic. He does not get it. But if I shut him down and demonize him, how is he ever going to be able to have a conversation with someone like me? If I'm not willing to have a conversation, why would I expect him to have the conversation?
Yo!
I would be 100% willing to sit down and have a conversation with Asmongold. Are you fucking kidding me? That would probably be the most like intellectually stimulating conversations of my life. Meeting someone like him. I would look forward to that. And you know, there might be things about him that I don't understand, but at least I can have a conversation and learn. And also there might be things he doesn't understand about people like me. But at least he might be able to learn. If I was refusing to sit down with someone like that and sit down and learn each other, then how are we ever going to make changes in this world? If we just say we're going to cancel every single person who has this opinion, well, you may as well cancel me, because I used to have those opinions before I came out as trans. I used to be transphobic. You gonna cancel me now? A trans woman who's gone through gender confirming surgeries? You gonna cancel me now? That's not the path forward. We're humans. We have flaws. We have emotions. We have ideas. We have beliefs. They're hard-coded into us sometimes, and we have to work that much harder to reach a more stable situation. And you can't force people to. You have to open the door, not shove them through the door. I would be much more willing to work with somebody who is willing to sit down and talk to me. I'm pretty sure someone like Asmongold, who everyone sees as this big demon, would probably be more of an ally to me than some like mob on social media that's going to cancel me as soon as I say something they don't like. I would find a home much easier with someone like Asmongold, because I'm pretty sure if I was beneficial to his goals, he would work with me. regardless of what my opinions are. And I know this because I've been paying attention. Anyway, I'm getting a little emotional, so. When I look at Asmongold, I see myself. And I think that's why people hate him, because they see themselves. That he doesn't lie to himself. I need to like look at myself in a mirror really hard and accept the cold hard realities about myself. I'm not exactly like him, but we're all alike. I think he accepts the animal parts of ourselves, and we can learn from that. We're all animals. That's a fact of life. But it doesn't mean we have to live like, you know, ruthless creatures. What it means is that we have animal parts of ourselves that we need to accept, but it doesn't mean we have to like become complacent if you don't want to. He doesn't want to, and we should not want to live like him. He says this himself. But we can learn from him. And I can only hope that one day he can learn from someone like me and learn how to see, like, you know, my reality. And that, like, he's, like, basically just... I don't need to get into the whole trans rhetoric thing. I really want to avoid that. It's really uncomfortable. I don't want to talk about it right now. But... basically what I'm saying is that, like, you know, it's really frustrating when people think that they get to pick and choose what kind of rights we have when we already know what works best. Transgender medicine already knows, like, yeah, there always needs to be more research and more, you know, growth, but we already know what's best for, you know, gender affirming care is the care. Like, yeah, a lot of people, you don't even need to tell them to do this. They will try to not be trans. I don't know if you know this about trans people, but for the most of us, you know, maybe not some people, but for the vast majority of us, we're constantly terrified of accepting that we're trans. And we will do everything possible to live as our birth assigned gender at birth. We will do whatever fucking possible. When I was a kid, I tried everything possible to be manly. To the point of even acting like an asshole and being toxic to people. But I moved on. I transitioned and I accepted that I'm female instead of fighting it. And my life has been significantly better since then. It's only been getting better. And so that's a bunch of evidence to me that this was the right choice. And I know people don't like the idea of child health care, but if you don't like child transgender health care, giving people a space to explore their identity and to pursue medicine, you know, in an ethical way that has been researched, and has a proper timeline that has been understood as like, you know, the best we know so far for the right people. If you're mad about children getting, like, indoctrinated, then why do we have schools? Why do we have the military coming in at, like, 4th graders trying to get them to join the military when they turn 17 with their parents' permission? Why do you force this idea of when you're older and you get married and you have kids, you're forcing, like, bring them to church, teach them about the Bible, or teach them about, you know, the Quran, or teach them about whatever. If you're going to come after transgender healthcare and come after trans children, you should also not be okay with any of those other things. And then the answer is not like just, you know, holding a gun to each other's head like a Mexican standoff. The answer is calming the fuck down and realizing that we're already in a fucked up situation where we're doing the best we can to help steer children in the best way possible. And at some point, you're going to have to accept that as adults, we have to make, like, you know, just some certain decisions that, hey, children are smarter than we think. And they're not going to, and yeah, we can give them opportunities to keep them safe. But at a certain point, they're going to do things on their own. And if we don't help them in an ethical and healthy way, they're going to find another way to do it. It's not going to stop kids from being trans if you deny them trans healthcare. We already know this. This has been researched. This has been the norm for most of like modern history. Trans people live in the closet, they try to be the birth gender, and it fails miserably. And at some point, life hits you like a ton of bricks, and you have to accept reality that you are trans. And shouldn't we give people the tools to not have any friction with that? That when they're ready, we open the doors for them in a healthy and in a way that will help them have the best results possible. Not try to force them into a specific door that we want them to go through.
Keep it real.
Like, yeah, them, like, you know, if I don't know, I'm done. I'm done with this. I don't want to talk about this. It's upsetting me. Anyway, let's get over to Ngoro Credo. Oh, I can use the flight path. Oh, I have a complete. Yeah, it's in this little hut.
What up? Keep it real. Be
Oh, there's
good.
another quest. Okay.
Have a good one.
Talk to me. Glad I could help. Hurry back.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people in my chat get mad that I had an opinion that was also shared by Asmongold. And I'm like, I don't need your approval. This person said I was punching sideways. How am I punching sideways for agreeing with a topic? I don't have to agree with the person. I have to agree with the idea. And if somebody has a good idea, I don't care really where, I don't have to fully accept who a person is and like accept their behavior. But like if they have ideas that are positive, it doesn't, why should it matter who said it? What if a trans woman said it? I mean, yeah, this, I need to move away from this. This is like making me upset. It's eating up the LGBTQ community. This toxic mindset that I know why it exists. I understand why people feel this way. But just because you feel that way doesn't mean it's an effective strategy. Okay?
Well met.
Your feelings don't care. I mean, your feelings don't really matter.
Keep your feet on the ground.
Okay, now we just go to Angora Crater, I guess.
What can I do for you? Safe travels.
Yeah, I don't know. The next one's in, yeah, we're basically leading ourselves into Silithus. But I have other quests. I gotta go to Darnassus. Let's some point. Let's finish up Angora Crater. Do I have anything in Eastern Kingdoms? I gotta. Also Booty Bay. So there's like an order of operations here. Basically, we're gonna finish up this quest in Angora Crater. We're gonna do the turn in, and then we're going to go to Barrens to turn in a quest. Wait, wasn't there a turn in Ratchet? Rutheran Village? Wait, where is there's a turn-in Tanaris? Where's Rutheran Village? I thought there was a turn-in Ratchet. Oh, I have to go to Darnassus for that one. Okay, that's in Booty Bay. Where's this? Fine. Oh, until Drassel. Okay. Yes, that's also near Darnassus. Okay. Yeah, in that little village there. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, Ungoro and then Darnassus. Maybe we should go turn it. Oh. Yeah, Darnassus, and then maybe go to Booty Bay, and yeah, then we go to Booty Bay, and then Iron Forge, and then Booty Bay. I don't know, Booty Bay, Hearthstone, Iron Forge. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be. Okay. Sorry, I do get a little emotional sometimes. The reason why I start my stream is usually when I have something on my mind and I want to talk about it. Level 60 there. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna be in the tar pits. Oh yeah, now we gotta fight these tar elementals. Yeah, I think I need to make something to eat. I'll be right back. Okay, and don't worry, I got healthy food. Well, I got healthy food cooking, okay? But I need something to time me over while it cooks, okay? So, keeping some extra flaming hot, crunchy Cheetos. Gaming mode here. So, okay, yeah. Yeah, hey, I mean, I'm kind of in like a comfort food kind of stage right now. Oh, getting some unarmed skill ups. Hopefully.
Well, well. Samba time, baby. Bossa and the samba are so close. Most of us don't know the difference. But what I'm going to do today is the samba with the Afro-Cuban. That's right.
Dangerously cheesy. God damn it. Oh, it's because of the druid. I was like, what's going on?
And then when we do the Afro-Cuban, I'm gonna go to my cowbell.
Yeah, I just, I don't want to hearth all the way back, so, there's no in here. So I'm gonna log on later, off stream. Way over here. Yeah, I'm gonna log off. Yeah, so I don't know. We talked a lot about a lot of stuff today. Had a lot of stuff off my chest. Just, you know, this is how I kind of how I like process a lot of stuff is I talk about it. Especially like on stream, because it's like it gives me a place where I can just kind of let my thoughts work. And I've been slowly learning to not be afraid. One of my workers was even telling sorry. Yeah, those Cheetos. Yeah, even one of my workers, one of my case managers was telling me that, you know, it's like, because I'm worried a lot about how my opportunities in life might be impacted negatively by the fact that I speak my mind, and that I'm on social media, that I say things that people might be offended by, and decide that they don't want to help me, or that they don't want to hire me, or they don't. And she was just saying, you know what, we're gonna find people who are going to support you. And it kind of opened up the door a little bit where I can feel safe. I don't feel like I have extremely radical views. I mean, in the sense that I have radical views, but I don't think I have extremely toxic views. I feel like, yeah, some things can be controversial, but that feels like a choice that people are making. It has nothing to do with me. I don't really feel like I'm this terrible human being that should not be given any opportunities just because of the thoughts that I share online. And I get worried sometimes that somebody's gonna find a clip of me or something and not like what I said, and so that person is gonna deny me housing, or that person is gonna deny me a job opportunity or something like that. And it's like, well, she kind of helped me understand that I wouldn't want to work with those people anyway. But it sucks when it's just I'm in this situation in this trailer and I want to get out of here. But I can't fundamentally change who I am to make that happen, because like I said, all it takes is one person's negative opinion of you to have everything crashing down. And I think I'm just slowly learning to not be afraid anymore. To just stop letting fear drive my decision makings for what I do and don't do. If I'm going to have an opinion that some people might find uncomfortable, well, you know, people also thought it was uncomfortable that people should, I don't know, not own slaves. That used to be radical. That was a pretty radical thought in the 1800s. Okay, so sometimes having an opinion that people find uncomfortable doesn't make it a bad opinion. It just means that people don't accept it. And I don't know, I think that I'm gonna choose to follow truth and justice and not get blinded by emotions. As soon as you start allowing your emotions to steer the ship, yeah, sometimes it can help you, but sometimes it can really hurt you. Because in the end of the day, the only things that really matter is, are your actions having impact in the direction that you think they should go? And if you're doing things based on emotions, sometimes they will not serve you. Sometimes they will actually actively prevent your progress or even undo your progress, because you're allowing your emotions and your feelings to influence your behavior. And sometimes that's good. But most of the time, I think, you want to have cold, emotionless decisions that are like, is this going to be effective? Yes or no? And you do those or you don't do those. And I don't know. I'm just hanging in there. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for stopping by. See ya.